What's up, gentlemen? This is Rising Phoenix Podcast, a podcast about how to rise up after your divorce. I'm your host, divorce coach Michael Rhodes. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to the show. This is episode 169. This is clearly another solo one, and I'm going to cover a few things. I believe the focus will be on owning your feelings. But before that, let's dive into the new listens and the new locations. Wilmington, North Carolina, you're up first. Shout out to you, episode 163. Am I a better man? The next two are actually in Oklahoma, Owasso, Oklahoma, episode 168, and Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, episode 168. Lastly on the list, Garland, Texas, episode 166, which was with Dr. Dean. Um, both Dr. Dean and Andrew, the divorce coach, I got from a new service that I joined, or a new website that I joined called Pod Match. And basically, it's a website where you sign up and you put yourself out there in terms of looking for guests. And I didn't, I set up my calendar and I did all the things, and I got a ton of messages, people wanting to come on the show, which was awesome. And I matched with people. It's kind of like dating, I guess. And then when I did that, anyone that I matched with immediately booked an episode. So I have been fucking busy recording podcast episodes. I don't even know how many I have to count. I would say I probably have a good some that were done weren't they're not going to be used, if I'm being honest. I'm not going to say who, obviously, but I would say I probably have a good 8 to 10, and I got 4 to 6 more in the month of January. So it's been pretty crazy, but I think I got some good ones coming for you. I got one on depression that I think is going to be a very good one. Two on loneliness, three actually, I think on loneliness. Two of them are with researchers, and one is with someone that wrote a book, if I remember correctly. I've been busy, so it's all good. When I'm done with this little sprint here, I'm going to be good for a couple of, sheesh, I don't know, 5 6 months maybe. Though I won't. I'm still getting messages on Podmatch, so I'll probably still do interviews, but I might be stocked up for a while, so that's all good stuff. Speaking of stocked up, I don't know if this transition works or not. This is going to come out on Christmas Eve. I don't know what you celebrate. I celebrate Christmas, and if you don't, whatever you do celebrate, I hope it's merry and happy, and you're spending time with friends and family. If it is Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I don't know what else people celebrate, but whatever it is, I just hope that it's you're able to enjoy it. And I know that's difficult this time of year. Um, take heart, you're not alone. It's difficult for everybody, not even people that are divorced, but people that lose loved ones. My father, as you all know, passed many years ago, and oh boy, that first Christmas, oh man, that was rough. I was 22 years old. Yeah, that was rough. So take heart if you're going through this holiday season without your full family, without some loved ones. I've been there. It does suck. There's not much I can say that will make it better, except to let you know that if you do some work, if you put in some work on yourself, if you focus on that, you can come out of this shit better off than you were before. And I know you probably heard that a million times from me, and some of you in the beginning are like, bullshit, I'm trying and nothing's working. And this is where time is important, but it's not just the ticking of the clock, it's the effort that you do put in and the amount of sort of repetitions, the mental gymnastics you have to go through in order to get to process these things to make them make some kind of sense so you can tuck them away in your brain and move on. I know that's obviously easier said than done, because if it was easy, clearly we wouldn't even need to be here now, would we? So With that said, I want you to know that I'm also, like I did with Thanksgiving, I'm having a chat tomorrow night on Christmas Eve, 9 o'clock Eastern time. If you're in the Divorce Support for Men group, it will be live streamed in there. If you're in the Discord, you have a direct link and you'll be able to meet and interact with me directly. If you're in the Divorce Support for Men group, you'll be able to interact via the chat and you'll be able to watch the live stream. So please join me. I don't know how long I'm going to run it for. I would say it's at a minimum an hour, but potentially longer. And I will probably do one Christmas morning as well. Not sure about that one in terms of time. Probably 10 a.m. Eastern is my guess. So please join me. Come and share your burden with me and all the other folks that are going to attend as well. I know a few people that are going to be there tomorrow night are veterans. Shout out to Ryan in Florida. Ryan has been with me on this journey pretty much from the beginning. He committed to going tomorrow night, so he'll be there, and hopefully he can provide you some hope, some guidance. Um, I want to talk a little bit about the work before I get into owning your emotions. And this, I'm not saying that what I'm about to tell you is where you need to get to, but last night my ex-wife and my oldest daughter had a fight. There was a dispute about clothing, and my ex-wife kept bringing clothes over to my house for my daughter because of an event she was attending, or not an event, but sort of an outing, let's call it that. And when my ex left, I could tell she was crying. And I told my oldest started raising her voice. It's like, yeah, I told her, come on, let's calm down. Let's not raise our voice. And then everyone kind of went their separate ways, and I got up, and a few minutes later, then I looked outside, and my ex-wife was still in my driveway. So I went out and I actually comforted my ex-wife, who was crying and upset over the situation. Is that the right thing to do? Yes, because she's a human. Man, I don't have it in me anymore to hold on to this hate and anger. I really just don't. I wish she wouldn't have done what she did. I hate what she did, but I just can't carry this hate with me anymore. This anger, it's too heavy. I don't want to carry it anymore. And here's the good part. So I did all this. I've done all this work, right? And so the work allowed me to even go out there and comfort her. That's number one. Because in the past I would have been like, "That's your problem, bitch. Ain't my problem." For sure, I would have done that. Even maybe as much as 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, this is the first sort of moment where this has come up. So not only was I able to go out there and comfort her, but I had no after effects. I'm not missing her in some kind of, I mean, I do miss her, but not in a like, God, n nothing like the first couple of years, probably. Like my life has been, it's been over 5 years. My life has marched forward without her. And so being able to, and by the way, comfort, I just rubbed her back and told her, it's gonna be okay. She's a teenager. And then I had a long talk with my daughter. You got to work this out with your mom. You only get one mom. And shout out to Chris Long, because I wouldn't have the growth I've experienced is also a testament to the people that I surround myself with. And you really got to make note of this. I think I don't know if it's Justin Delahanty that says it, but I know in terms of like, did he come up with this? I don't think he did, but he says it a lot. Like I can't, I know I'm paraphrasing, but you're the sum of the five people you spend time, the five people you spend the most time with. And Chris's was always like, hey man, they only get one mom. They they can't divorce their mom. They can't leave their mom. They can't, like, so you don't want to drive a wedge into that. You don't, and that was hard. It was very hard for a long time. But he's right. I don't want her to hate her mother because that makes for a difficult life for her. And it's my job to make sure she has the best life she can. So anyway, so I had a good long talk with my daughter and said, you got to work this stuff out. And not in at a very good, like open, just a great conversation. One that I never would have had if I would have been so pissed off. If I would have held on to this anger. And that's what I'm going to focus on with this episode. Because these feelings that you have, they're yours. You need to own them. But if they're anger, then they're not the real feeling. Anger should never be a shield or a sword. It should be a motivator. So if your anger is causing you to lash out or be defensive, then it's doing you no good. And it's not the real issue. The real issue is the hurt. That's yours. Own that shit. Own it so you can feel it and then heal it and move on from it. So then you can have moments where you can have these awesome conversations because you weren't triggered by the pain of being around your ex, even. And trust me when I say, I know this isn't easy. You don't have to do it tomorrow. It took me probably 5 fucking years. So timetables and fuck, throw them out the fucking window. Don't expect where I'm at tomorrow or a year out. I honestly think this healing shit, and I said it probably 2 years in. And I'm not saying I'm fully healed, but the things I was able to do recently are a pretty good fucking indication that I am. I thought it would take me 5 years. And maybe that's why it did, because I expected it to. Fuck if I know. And I'm not saying that I sat around crying into my fucking pillow for 5 years. I mean, I've had good moments. But I truly feel like I've taken ownership of my feelings. So if I am hurt, I sit with that. Go, okay, that was hurtful. And I don't let it become anger, which keeps it buried. And I still have work to do, don't get me wrong. But these are my feelings. If that's hurt, that's my hurt. Let me own it. Let me feel it. Let me manage it and deal with it, process it so I can move on from it. So it doesn't keep me held, doesn't control me. If if anger is all that you have, you're never going to heal. Never. Now, I'm not saying never be angry. I'm not saying roll over. I'm not saying you even have to comfort your fucking wife if she's crying. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't have to go out there and comfort her, but it did feel good to do that because it was like I can provide her with something that she couldn't provide with me, and I can do it in a way that doesn't affect me in a negative way or set me backwards, or it doesn't push on a wound. It doesn't make me think what could have been. I mean, I think that shit sometimes anyway, but that's not what these moments did. They did not. And it got me closer to my daughter. I mean, I had a wonderful conversation with my daughter afterwards. And it wasn't in a lecture or um, telling her, you know, act like I should, not like I am. I was able to set the example. And I think that's all we're supposed to do as parents. Or I shouldn't say it's all we're supposed to do, but it's a large part of our mission. Set the example. Show them how to be a good person in this world. And yeah, and part of that is in hopes that they don't repeat the mistakes of their mothers. That's true. But it also shows them the way to be, how to be a good person. I'm not saying be a fucking doormat. It's not what I'm saying. Too often, I think men get this twisted. They think that, and I know there's this no more Mr. Nice Guy thing, right? And sometimes when I mention that, I don't say it. I say it as if you know what the fuck I'm talking about because I'm assuming a lot of you out there have read that book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. Um, Not my favorite guest. Anyway, um, you don't have to be a pushover. You don't have to be a nice guy, but you can be a good person. You can be a kind person. It took nothing away from me to go out in that driveway and cover my ex-wife. Didn't take it away from me. Does she deserve it? After 5.5 years, yeah, she's a human. Do I need to comfort her for every little thing she's going through? Fuck no. That's not what I'm talking about either. I'm talking about in this specific instance where our child that we share is causing her distress, then it's okay, I think, for me to comfort her and but not under the guise of like trying to get back. I don't even know how that would work. I can't, not to I don't know, rub it in kind of a way, like to sort of covertly be a dick or whatever. Like, geez, if she doesn't do that here, you know, I it just I did a good thing. And what does Ted Lasso say, right? Doing the right thing is never the wrong thing. Did I mention I love Ted Lasso? I think I've said that. Um, but anyway, so if you own these feelings, the core of them, the true thing, right? Not the anger. Again, if your anger is a shield or a sword, it's not doing you any good. If it's causing you to take action, that's a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. Anger is not wrong per se, but I think us men, we overuse it. That was the point I was trying to make earlier. Someone, I deleted it and blocked them because fuck that guy. But someone commented on the last episode on YouTube that it was for chicks. Okay, dude. So I just want to make sure I get this clear. Um, Men aren't supposed to have feelings. Is that I'm gonna make some assumptions based on that dumb fucking comment you made. Men aren't supposed to have feelings. We're not supposed to learn from our mistakes. We're not supposed to. I don't know if crying was talked about in there, but I'm gonna assume you think that's for pussies too. As if we don't have fucking tear ducts. Uh, it's not like that's a uniquely female thing, you dumb fuck. Um, and so when you can own these things and get to the root of them, if it is hurt, which usually it is, or shame or embarrassment or whatever it is, then you can process it. You can deal with it. Feelings don't just go the fuck away. Emotions don't just go the fuck away. You have to process them. And that's where time comes in. That's true that time is a friend in that regard, but it's not just time. It's work, it's processing, it's learning how to adapt and do things differently. I think that's all I got for this one. I really kind of wanted to, I guess, talk about what I would call a victory and tie it into why it became. It's because I'm able to, and not all the time, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm able to own these emotions and get to the core and the root and feel them so that I don't let them control me. I manage them so they don't manage me. That's all I got. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. Since my separation in July of 2019, I have done an incredible amount of work on myself. I've had many different therapists, life coaches, and went through different programs. I've taken all that I've learned and put it into my own program called Forged by Fire. If you are interested in having me help you navigate your divorce, please hit my website, risingphoenixdivorcecoach.com. I look forward to working with you.